Everybody ready? Well, this is a good place to be. We've been here before for ceremonies, swearing people in and speaking to the classes as they left. South Carolina is one of the few states that has a training academy, a statewide training academy, and not only do we have one, but it is excellent. I don't know of a better one. Everyone here knows that law enforcement, public safety are one of the main keys to our success, is as we try to educate the young people for the future and try to keep business flowing and keep families healthy and strong. If we can't keep them out of harm's way by protecting them, then all other efforts are doomed to failure. So we appreciate our law enforcement officers and all they do. And particularly, most of us get up in the morning and put on a soft shirt and a tie, maybe a coat. But law enforcement officers get up and put on a uniform and a bulletproof vest or a bullet-resistant vest and a badge and usually a firearm. So it's a different kind of life. It's a different kind of work, and it is completely essential and integral to everything we do in South Carolina. That is why it is so important that the Department of Public Safety has a director that is experienced, is educated, is knowledgeable, that is very familiar with the people of his or her state, and has the drive and determination to see that the many difficult things that have to get done in various capacities, from training to administration to innovation, all get done. That's why I am so happy to have such a great group to choose from in South Carolina for these very important positions. And as you can see by those assembled here, all of us understand how important this particular position is. Robert G. Woods, the fourth. He's the fourth. I'd like to see the first, second, and third. Yes, and I understand there's a fifth coming along as well. What a great legacy. But Robert G. Woods has been in law enforcement for 31 years, graduate of the Citadel and Columbia College, so he's highly educated. And with the South Carolina Highway Patrol, the Bureau of Protective Services, and the Transport Police, all under Department of Public Safety, we understand how important this is. I'm glad to see Senator Katrina Shealy with us today. Senator Mike Gambrell, who was the fire chief years ago. And we were up at your old station not long ago and met your parents. Sure did. And Dennis Moss was with the Highway Patrol. Is that right? Now, Senator Shealy has never put out a fire, but she started her share. And she shows no signs of slowing down. So we're delighted to have such a group of people and leaders and citizens in South Carolina that understand the importance of law enforcement. So at this point, I'd like to turn over to you my nominee, and I think I can say all of our nominee for the Director of Public Service, Department of Public Safety, and that is Robert G. Woods IV. Director. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor McMaster. When the governor originally asked me to serve as the acting director of DPS, it was the last possibility that I expected. But as I left his office, the guidance given to me by one of my English professors at the Citadel came to mind. Colonel Blaine Mathis told me one time, "Robert, there are many ways to serve." So I seized the governor's request as another opportunity for me to serve. It is important to know that over my 31 years in law enforcement, I have learned this lesson. It is not I who serves the best, it is we who serve the best. As a young officer with the City of Charleston Police Department, it was we who backed up each other on calls. During my early years with the Highway Patrol, it was we who took recs for one another when one was at the end of a shift and the other was at the beginning of a shift. As an instructor in the Highway Patrol Training Unit, It was we who worked to develop and deliver the highest quality instructions to troopers and officers. When I was assigned to the Highway Patrol Emergency Traffic Management Unit, it was we who refined evacuation plans and strengthened partnerships with our state and local support agencies. And as the acting director of SCDPS, it has been we who have adapted daily operations to the COVID work environment, responded to the complexities of social justice issues and civil unrest, and joined together to find innovative ways for improving working conditions and bolstering employee morale. Not only is this commitment to teamwork been my experience with DPS, for me, it is the spirit of South Carolina itself. From responding to Hurricane Hugo to addressing the COVID-19 pandemic, I have witnessed a spirit of selfless service that truly defines those who serve South Carolina. Over the past few months, I've seen firsthand Governor McMaster lead this state by his commitment to collaboration, communication, and coordination, and I'm proud to be a part of his team. Thank you, Governor McMaster, for giving me another opportunity to serve.
Sir. Chief Mark Keel, Chief of SLED.
Good afternoon. I just want to take this opportunity, Governor, first to, again, thank you for nominating Rob Woods to be Director, Department of Public Safety. You know, I've had a chance to work with Rob when I was Director of Department of Public Safety from 2008 to 2011, and I actually had the opportunity to promote him to Captain over Emergency Management. And again, in that role, working with him on hurricanes, which seemed like was a every year thing, I got to know Rob Woods very well. The one thing that I can tell you, and I think I can stand here and speak for all law enforcement in South Carolina, we are happy today to have Rob Woods as Director or nominee for Director of Department of Public Safety. The one thing you're going to find out about Rob Woods is that he is respected. He is a very intelligent person. He has honesty and integrity that is above reproach. He will support the men and women of the Department of Public Safety, but he will also hold them accountable. And so, again, Governor, I just want to thank you for nominating Rob Woods. Again, I've had the opportunity to work with him, and he had the opportunity to work for me. And so I know him, I know where his heart is at, I know he's dedicated to the Department of Public Safety, and we look forward to his continued work there at DPS. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Ms. Adcox.
So he's been acting director for a while. What took so long? For you to decide on making him the nominee?
Well, we've been dealing with the virus for a while, and as you know, the legislature has not been in session. And so this will go forward in January is the earliest it could have gone forward. But I have to say that Director Woods has done a superlative job. The first indication that I got about how well he would do was from a lot of his colleagues, and many of whom you see here. As I say, we've got a lot of talent in South Carolina, and when I asked him if he would accept the position in an acting capacity, he said yes. I asked him for a report, an analysis on various things that ought to be done. It's on late Friday afternoon, and I monitored it. I figured I'd have a complete report within 4 or 5 days, maybe a week. Well, it was on my desk Sunday morning. I thought, we're getting off to a good start. So he is a fine law enforcement professional, a fine man, bears an excellent reputation. Morale is high, spirits are high, and there's a lot of work to be done. And I think that the people of the state in just the last few months have had a good opportunity to see a good, strong, steady, experienced hand at the wheel, and it's going to make things, keep South Carolina on this path towards prosperity.
Obviously, your last nominee didn't go through process. What do you think will be different about this year?
Well, I hope this one goes through. I think it will. You never know what's going to happen. Chief Burgess is a fine family man. He had family considerations. Various things come into play, as you know, in all of these processes. But we're delighted to be here where we are today. It seems that every step along this way has been towards a very bright future.
If we could get the senators to speak as
I'm sure they'd be willing to speak. Here's a fire getting ready to start right now.
You didn't tell me I was going to have to be before the firing squad. You just invited me. Yes, ma'am.
So what do you think of his confirmation process is, how that might go?
Well, as far as I understand, he's very well qualified, that I don't see any problems.
Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. Getting out of the line of fire. Y'all can come a little closer if you want to. Come on up. There you go. Everybody had the flu shot? Everybody had the flu shot? Flu shot? Nobody fessing up? All right. They're free and they're everywhere. Okay. I think I can hear y'all all right. Ms. Adcox, you've seen you, I think. You got a question? Okay.
You're a law and order guy. What do you think about the president's attempts to get the courts involved in the election? And it seems like so far he's had a pretty bad record about getting the judges to side with his arguments.
Well, the president's not the only one that wants questions answered. And there's no doubt there have been a lot of questions raised in this election. I think there have been more raised in more places in this election than most people can remember in any other. But that's a part of the process. The process is all this, established by law. If you have questions, if you have challenges, you mount them, you present the evidence, and you follow through the process. There's some have been, I understand, have been mounted and have been dismissed, and others are still pending, and perhaps some yet to be mounted. But that's all part of the process. Nothing unusual.
Is there a point where you would tell him that, okay, that's it? Is it when the electors come?
Well, I'm not sure what the processes are. I'd have to verify for what is available after the Electoral College has met. But that is a fairly decisive point, I believe, in the process.
What do you think about this election? I mean, do you feel like it was done fairly and on the level?
I have no firsthand information. I've read the same reports you have. Again, I think there have been a record number of allegations and complaints, but we've had allegations and complaints in elections before, not of this magnitude, not this widespread. But again, there's a process that's been established by law for many years to follow, and that's what's being followed.
Have you had any communication with the Biden team?
No, ma'am.
Governor, what are your thoughts on the school closings that have happened over the last couple of days? In the election versus the 5 district, where so many teachers said they didn't feel safe, or essentially didn't go to work because they didn't feel safe, and now they had to have a virtual thing. What are your thoughts on that? Is that correct?
Well, my position has been from the beginning that the best place for the children to be is in class, in school. And it's not only best for the children to learn, but it's also better for those parents who are working. And we don't want the parents to have to choose between their children and their job. So the best place, I think all agree, the best place for children to be is in school. The place they learn the best is in school, shoulder to shoulder with the teacher. So we need to always, and of course, and I've urged them from the very beginning, urge all the districts to do that and to give the parents the choice. Let the parents voice their choice on whether they want like their children to be face-to-face or virtual. We're making progress. Over the more and more districts are going full-time face-to-face. I think it's 46 or maybe it's 56% of the schools out of 1,200 now are having face-to-face. So I would urge everyone to do all they can to be in school. And we've had reports from a variety of expert sources over the months saying that the school is, relatively speaking, is a safe place to be compared to a lot of other places.
Right, but we have community spread. We've had fairly high numbers for quite a while now. Even recently, it seems like we're in another spike, it seems. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you going to have these test kits that you spoke about last week? When is that going to roll out to help these teachers do it?
Well, those test kits are, I think we have several 100,000 that are in the state now, ready to be distributed. I think they're going to start tomorrow, I believe. But again, the statistics show that the schools relative to other places are safer than most other places. So I would encourage all the districts to do all they can to assure the parents and teachers that with the proper precautions taken, that their children can come to school and continue to learn. Because if there are a lot of children that were having difficulty learning to begin with, and just your regular students need to have that face-to-face education. And the longer we deprive them of that, then the more compensation of some kind is going to be necessary to get them up to speed, the more time and work, and it's going to be very difficult, I think.
As you've noted many times, you don't have the ability through state law to force districts to do anything. They are autonomous bodies. Do you think with
Well, the authority in the continuing resolution was given to the superintendent of education.
okay, that said, do you think the superintendent should be doing more to bring students back? And do you think the legislature, now that they're coming into session, should do something to perhaps?
I know the superintendent is doing a lot of work. She's dealing with the districts and dealing with the teachers. And all I can, from what I've seen, the goal, everyone has the same goal. It's just a question of when it's going to occur. In my opinion, it should occur much sooner and not later. I think that there are places now that could be doing 5-day face-to-face that have not yet reached that.
Speaking of this coronavirus, Pfizer and Moderna's vaccines are on their way to approval. Some have said before the end of the year they could be approved. Is South Carolina ready to receive
Yes, ma'am.
and distribute?
We've been working on our distribution plan for months. And it involves the Department of Health and Environmental Control, the Emergency Management Division, and the National Guard may play a role as well. So we're ready, but we don't know when we're going to get the vaccine and don't know how much. And I ought to say, when those first doses get here, however many they are, they're going to be allocated to certain people, perhaps healthcare workers and others that are in those sorts of positions. But there's not going to be enough to go around to all of them, much less the rest of the population. It's going to take months before we get that. But the plan, the clear plan is to go to those most vulnerable that are helping those with the disease so they can continue to help and treat healthcare workers and things. But then with your first responders and others, and of course, eventually it'll get to all of us. But it's going to take some time.
So with that, Governor, is there anything that you guys have already kind of started to set in motion with the vaccines? Are you going to be basically following the CDC guidelines that were released recently?
Well, that's two different questions. Yes, we are going to mobilize, but there's nothing to mobilize yet because we have nothing to distribute. But as soon as those supplies get here, they will go into action and have them distributed. Yes, sir. Mr. Kenny?
Governor, go back to the hate crimes legislation question. Here's a growing number of businesses in the state urging members to enact hate crime legislation. Your support would enhance something, or change something like that. Are you willing to define that or support
Well, it depends on what it is. We have a lot of laws that address what you would call hate crimes. Murder, of course, has got to be a hate crime. I believe most people would agree. Assault and battery is probably considered a hate crime. Whether there needs to be an enhancement is another question. But there are all sorts around the states, from what we've seen. Different states have different provisions, different measures, different penalties. So I don't know. I don't think anyone knows at this point exactly what the General Assembly will do. Or there may be a variety of proposals, probably some from A to Z. But we'll go through the legislative process and see what they produce. If they produce, you got the House and the Senate, you're gonna have to both agree. Well, that's what I just mentioned. The question is exactly what are the provisions? Those are the kind of variables that have to be examined to see is it too much? Is it too little? Is it effective? Is it duplicative? Is it confusing? Does it violate constitutional rights? There are all sorts of questions that need to be answered, and I'm confident that the General Assembly will be able to debate that very well.
Obviously, with the pandemic, no new budget was passed. There was that continuing resolution that kind of kept things funded at the same levels as years before. Would you like to see a new budget passed, maybe some COVID-19 relief, right?
With his confirmation going forward, we're getting ready to go back in session in January. He will, as soon as we can get in and get the packet ready before the Judiciary Committee, that things, they'll set up a preliminary subcommittee and it'll go forward. And as far as I know, everything seems fine. So I don't see any problems with everything moving forward. Any other questions? Jump before the fire.
Don't ask me to say a few words. Just hope it's just a few words. I think his confirmation will go well. I've dealt with Rob on several issues while he's been interim director, and everything's worked very professionally and exactly right down the line like it should be. And we look forward to going through the process.
Any more questions?
I do have one, but it's slightly unrelated. Just wanted to kind of get comment from you on this while I have the floor. I understand that the Chamber of Commerce reached out to y'all about passing a hate crimes bill here in South Carolina. Can you give us more on how that process is going and how optimistic you are?
Well, that's an issue that's been before the General Assembly before, and you're right, will be before it again. There are a lot of differing opinions on that, and we look forward to moving forward in that process.